quadcopter works along with propellers and motors. Quadcopters today are very easy to fly in any direction. They can also hover in place super smoothly. The engineering and design is different to an airplane or helicopter for flying. In this post we look at how a quadcopter flies, the required motor direction, configuration, setup, propeller design along with quadcopter motor thrust and calculations required. How a quadcopter works. So how does a quadcopter hover or fly in any direction, lift or descend at a moment's touch on the remote controller stick? Drones can also fly autonomously through programmed waypoint navigation software and fly in any direction going from point to point. So let's look at the quadcopter technology, which makes this possible. It is a propeller direction along with the drone's motor rotation and speed, which make its flight and maneuverability possible. The quadcopter's flight controller sends information to the motors via their electronic speed control circuits, escape, information on thrust, RPM, revolutions per minute, and direction. The flight controller will also combine EMU, gyro and GPS data before signaling to the quadcopter motors on thrust and rotor speed. While the drone and quadcopter technology of today is all modern, they still use the old principles of aircraft flight, gravity, action and reaction pairs. In the manufacture of quadcopters, propellers and motor design, the four forces which affect all flight, weight, lift, thrust and drag, are also important considerations. Mathematics is also used to calculate quadcopter motor thrust while aircraft aerodynamics is used for propeller design and the movement of air above, below and around the quadcopter. Importance of how a quadcopter works and flies. With a small bit of experience, flying a quadcopter becomes automatic. You move the sticks on the remote controller ground station which send the quadcopter in whichever direction you want it to fly. We don't need to think about what the motors or propellers are doing. Now supposing your quadcopter wasn't flying correctly. Maybe it is pulling in one direction or not hovering smoothly. Well, understanding how a quadcopter works and flies will help you locate the issue with the motor or propeller, especially if a visual inspection does not show a fault. When you understand quadcopter propeller design and motor thrust, you can make changes to your quadcopter such as removing the camera and installing another payload such as a time of flight or a LiDAR sensor. Flying with the different payload will have an effect on the control, flight and balance of the drone. A different payload will then require different quadcopter motor thrust. If you are building your own or designing quadcopters, then understanding motor and propeller design is essential information. You need the correct quadcopter motor configuration, matching propellers, electronic speed control circuits along with EMU and GPS together with matching the correct body. If you want to understand more about all the other components which make up our normal drone, then read this terrific article on all types of drone technology. Okay, let us now look at how a drone flies and specifically the quadcopter propeller and motor direction and design.